Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with the review of the Transformers Power of the Primes Leader Class Evolution Optimus Prime. Yes, leader classes are here. They've been out for a bit. I finally got an Optimus. Still looking for a Rodimus, but I got Optimus and I'm now reviewing it for you guys. So, you know Optimus Prime, he's the leader of the Autobots. He turns into a truck, but the thing going on with the leader classes for Power of the Primes, if you don't know, is that every single leader class figure has a smaller, quote-unquote, deluxe-sized robot a smaller deluxe-ish sized robot designed to represent the form that the respective Prime had before they became Prime. For example, for Optimus Prime, before he was Optimus Prime, he was known as ORION PAX. And he does have a smaller robot that looks exactly like straight up 100% basically came off the screen. Well, from the front, the backpack's got truck parts that don't exist. But anyway, basically screen accurate ORION PAX design that no one expected to ever see realized in toy form. So that's really freaking cool, and it also then combines with the rest of the toy to make the full scale Optimus figure. And that's all really cool, but we do have to go over the truck mode first, and I gotta say, the truck mode is definitely the weakest part. It's got a lot of cool things going on with it, but it is certainly the weakest part. As you can see, it emulates the G1 toy with having a flat-nosed truck cab in the front and a gray trailer going on in the back, but you can see how panelly and gappy it is. These are two separate pieces, so let me actually just take the trailer apart for now and just take a look at the cab portion of Optimus. And up front, like I said, it's just the semi-truck, and wow, just wow. Okay. Taking a close look at the front, well, the truck itself is predominantly red in the front section. There's a lot of nice silver paint going on here on the bumper, on the grille, a little bit over there. Even nice silver paint on the windshield wipers, which the front windshields are clear plastic, or at least translucent plastic. I can't tell if there's any. I don't think there's any colors yet, so they were probably clear. However, on the side, there's no clear windows there, and that is just a light blue paint for those windows, but there's still some nice silver paint on the sides there. And for the mirrors, the wheels are pretty solidly black, but they do roll. The top is just some nice molded truck details going on there. And then to the back, we've got robot arms doing their best to hide, but doing a very poor job. We got a head, we got the ORION PAX head, trying to hide between the robot mode between his robot mode legs, and it's not doing well. Though he does have the trailer hitch. That joint right there is the trailer hitch, so he does have a trailer hitch. Back section is blue. You got the wheels. You got gray, like the tanks on the side of the truck that are gray that are right there. You got some gaps there. You got some major gaps there. You got a little bit of silver paint, but that's more so for robot stuff. You got feet hiding out there, and then you got the underside, which is just holes. Very, very rough front truck mode, but that all rolls very nicely. Now, to take a look at the trailer itself, looking at the side, it is all gray. A lot of nice molding on the sides here. Stickers to emulate the sticker stripe going along the side of the truck. And mine are applied fairly nicely, and they are shiny, and I don't mind it as much as I do for the stickers on Starscream, though I still think a tampograph would have looked better, especially for like around here where there's that hinge and you can't have any stickers going on that hinge, just to make that like a complete stripe, as well as this hinge right there. Though that one would have been a little harder to work around, so that one I'm not as bothered by. This one I'm a bit more bothered by. The stripe is a thick gray line and then two blue lines, as well as a nice Autobot symbol right there, and it's mirrored on the other side. Besides that, it's just the molding in gray. You got two wheels rolling down there, two wheels rolling down there, a little bit of stuff going on there. And then everything else is gaps and panels that try their best to cover everything up. You got the top of Optimus's robot mode chest, you got Optimus's robot mode arms, well, full leader robot mode arms. You got huge gaps going on here, you got holes there. You got just the underside that's just trying to hide the shell, basically. It's kind of a mess, admittedly. But you know what? I don't mind so much. Because because of how well the robot modes, since there are 2 robot modes, it works so well. I don't mind the problems with the vehicle mode. Do I wish they did a couple of things better? Yes. Does it make me hate the toy? No, not at all. I guess for me, it's the robot mode that is the most important when it comes to Transformers figures, since that's the way I display them most, and those are the ones that have, you know, the actual characters in full, their standard portrayal, while the alternate forms are very nice and very cool. The problems with the alternate modes don't bother me as much. And the robot modes are phenomenal. However, with this toy, I think it's more so the robot modes, but especially like having an Optimus Prime truck cab with a trailer. I just keep playing the touch in my head. It's just so this is just so freaking nostalgic to me for whatever freaking reason. I am 22 years old. I have born well after the original toy line ended, but this is so freaking nostalgic for me. It's just, this is Optimus Prime. This is what I want. This is cool. It could be better, but this is just so freaking cool that I don't care the problems. Like, if someone can make like a cover to cover this up and a gray panel like cover that up, I'll be pleased. I'll be pleased, and I'll take it, and then I'll just be like, yeah, this is fine. This is completely fine, and it's just so cool. It's so cool. So cool. Well, now we got to get on to the accessories. So first, let's talk about these 2. He comes with 2 separate guns. This smaller one, and then this other one that's a bit bulkier. The main thing is that they are both pieces of Optimus Prime's signature ion rifle, and you just combine them together like so, and you can get the full ion rifle with 2 5mm posts. There are also a couple of posts on the side that allow for extra weapon plugging and all of that on both sides as well. And there are places to store in the vehicle mode. There are 2 5mm posts on the roof. On the top of the truck cab, and you can just stick them in there like so if you want. If you don't want to do that, you can put the 2 guns together and then just open this up a little bit, and you're going to notice there are like these small red tabs right there. And you're just going to stick the gun, stick the gun into those tabs. Just have it fold in together. You're probably going to pull some panels apart, but you can do that, and you can have the gun sitting like there. Not necessarily the cleanest way to store it, but you know what? That's fine. It's acceptable. It's completely acceptable. Yeah, that's all. Another thing you can do. This is not mentioned in the instructions. However, this is the trailer hitch right here, and you can stick the gun in like so, and if you actually rotate it like this, and if you fold it like that, it's going to get caught right there, and you can utilize the gun as such to make a trailer stand if you have this transformed into Orion PAX. So yeah, you got some options of what to do with all of that. And I definitely pulled a lot of panels apart. Oh, I did forget to mention the trailer rolls, and because there's a trailer hitch going on, you can get this to turn, which is very nice. That is all incredibly nice. He does have Optimus does have another accessory. He comes with the Matrix of Leadership. Well, a Matrix of Leadership, since all of the leader class primes will have some form of a matrix coming with them. This is very much designed on the one he gave off to Ultra Magnus, then got passed on to Rodimus in the original movie, and the pretty common interpretation of the Matrix. It's very nice, just a solid gray handle, translucent blue with light piping going on there for the crystal, and then orange paint around to mimic the original orange core going around it. This is capable of fitting inside the trunk mode. You do open those windows. You see the back of the Optimus head right there, admittedly. You just stick it in and it just kind of fits between those two tabs. It doesn't tab in anywhere, but the friction is, but how it works, all of the friction is tight enough that it does hold very nicely, and then you just close those up, and you've got the Matrix of Leadership riding inside Optimus's cap. You can do a few other things with, whoops, and I just threw the Matrix on the ground. How dare I be so sacrilegious to the Transformers culture and religions. But another thing you can do is you can actually take this Matrix core out, and it's basically like the Enigmas is a combination that come with the Voyager class figures. They're just a solid block, hollow in the back, but they are able to integrate with other places that Prime Masters can source, such as the Deluxe Prime Armor, like so, the Voyager Prime Armor, like so, and you can integrate any other Prime Master, Time Master, Enigma of combination, whatever, inside the Matrix holder. So, example, Vector Prime can go right in the Matrix and then store in Optimus's chest. Perfectly fine. You can also do this with faces, and then it gets very, very weird. But yeah, and that's all of the accessories. There's no other place to store the Matrix on Optimus, and that's all the accessories that come with him. So now let's get into some size comparisons. So here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee. I'm gonna have to raise the camera and see how well I can do this, because the trailer does not tab in, it just kind of rests in the trailer hitch, so this is going to be a little awkward. There's that size comparison. Here is Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. And you can see how well that scales. Show you just with the truck. Chrome Dome is about as long, well, Optimus is about as long as Chrome Dome. And you got Voyager Megatron. There he is compared with the full Optimus. Well, as full as I can get on camera. And then just the truck cab. And then here he is with Leader Class 6-shot, and you can see how Optimus scales next to him, and then just the truck cab scales next to 6-shot. So yeah, that's all there's to say on the truck mode. So now let's roll right along and transform him into his ORION PAX form. So we're just gonna move the trailer off to the side. And this is all completely just the truck cab itself turning into ORION PAX first. So what we're going to do is we are going to take these side panels and we are going to fold them up like so and just tab them in like so. Do that on the other side. Fold that up like so. Then we're going to take these panels and we're going to pull them out and we are going to rotate them all the way around to the front. They will tab into those slots right there and they'll just sit right there. Do that with the other side as well. And there you go. Now we can get to actually getting to the robot. Moving along, we're gonna fold the arms out to the sides. The arms don't tab in anywhere, they just kind of sit there. Some people say you can just move these gaps into the slots right there, but that's not official transformation instructions, though that is certainly a viable transformation. And if that looks better to you than the arms being up, you can do that. I do think this actually does look a bit better just because it's a little more compacted. But anyway, moving back onto the transformation, we fold these out, fold them down, and rotate the arm around, and flip out the fist. Then we rotate this around, fold the arm down, rotate at the bicep, and flip out the fist. How you doing, Optimus? Are you doing good today? And then we're going to come down here, and then these two tabs right there go into those holes on the chest right there, if the camera will focus. And then you just rotate the legs down, you untab them, rotate them at the thigh, rotate them at the thigh, flip the foot out, flip the foot out, and the last thing you need to do is collapse the chest up, flip the Orion Pax head down, and there you have Orion Pax in his robot mode. And like I said, very, very freaking screen accurate to the original figure, to the original model, I should say. There's no original figure. This is the original show model. And wow, that's heckin' nice. That's so freaking nice. Taking a closer look at him, he does have a very nice large and blue head, very accurate to the show again. Nice silver face and nice light blue eyes going on there. You got some translucent blue going on for that chest with some details going on there, as well as an Autobot symbol sticker on the middle of his chest. Got a little bit of yellow paint going on, picking out parts of his chest, and a silver 4-pack on his abs. The arms are very predominantly red, a little bit of gray at the hinge there, and then blue fists going on there. The hips have hip panels that are red, and then the hip joint itself is in that blue. Then the thighs are gray, and the lower legs are predominantly blue with a little bit of sticker detail, give them a little bit more G1 vibe going on. I can't remember if that was accurate, but it probably was to the original model. So it's nice that they put those stickers there. These kind of stickers I don't mind as much as opposed to the ones like on Starscream, because they're small and they're just like very minor, very tiny details. So those are fine. And then you got, and not too much in the way. And then there's a little bit of silver going along around the foot area, and then you got the foot, and it's just a solid blue piece. And then you come to the back and you see all the truck bits. You got the tanks, you got the wheels, you got the rest of the truck. I mean, Orion Pax turned into a Cybertronian vehicle, so none of those bits can really be on his robot mode to be show accurate. So articulation-wise, his head can rotate a full 360. It's on a ball joint. It is also able to bob up and down, and not really too much side-to-side waggle. His arms can rotate a full 360. They can, unfortunately, only bend out that far. He does have a bicep swivel, allowing 360 degrees of rotation there, and a double jointed elbow that allows for nearly 180 degree elbow bend, and then a fist that can do that if you want to give him a sword and make him hold a rapier or something. That can work. There is no waist articulation, however his hips can bend that far forward and that far back purely because, whoops, and I just undid the ball joint on the other hip because of kipple getting in the way. And then they're able to bend that far out only because that tab gets in the way. And I just threw mine off of my ball joint. The ball joints are surprisingly kind of loose. They don't like feel loose, but they come off easily. Easier than most all their ball joints. Seemingly, I'll just be fiddling with it. Oh, the ball joint fell off. And it really doesn't feel loose at all. It's just, I guess it's loose enough. And especially because like this red hip section is kind of like its own separate piece and has its own movement separate from the hips. That may cause the extra opportunity for the ball joint to pop off. But, and again, the legs can only go that far out. There is a thigh swivel, allowing full 360 degrees of rotation, a knee bend for a full 90 degrees of rotation of bend, and then a foot that can bend up that far and all the way back, but that's for transformation, obviously. So he does have a very nice range of posability. He is, whoops, his panels got stuck a little bit. So he can hold the two weapons in his hands because he has 5mm posts in his hands. I don't like giving him the full rifle because that's really an Optimus thing. And also it is going to be a little bit big. I like giving him just this smaller rifle. That just feels right to me. But I will show him off with the full ion rifle just for comparison. Just this librarian Docker possible cop holding this huge honking gun. Yeah. And he can hold the Matrix. Well, he can't like actively hold it. Neither ORION PAX or Optimus have anything with their fists that allow them to hold the Matrix, and that's a very sad part of these toys, that they can't actively hold the Matrix in their hands. I wish they were able to do that, but the Matrix can still store it. You just have to open those panels, and then open those panels, and then just put the Matrix back in where it was in the truck mode. And I'm just gonna leave the Matrix in there for now, since in a moment we are going to be getting onto the Optimus form, which should be carrying the Matrix already. But yeah, so that's all there is to say on ORION PAX in his robot mode. So now let's get onto some robot mode size comparisons. Here he is next to Legends class Bumblebee, and you can see Bumblebee comes out to just above the gray bit on his hip. I was going to move ORION PAX out of the way. Here's ORION PAX next to a Chrome Dome, and you see he is substantially over a head taller than a Chrome Dome is, and these are reportedly supposed to be about deluxe size, so he's a fair bit larger than a deluxe in robot mode at the very least. Here he is next to Voyager class Megatron, and while he is like shorter and smaller than Megatron, he is, in terms of head height, a lot closer to Megatron than he is to Deluxe. Like, he's only like half a head shorter than Megatron is here. And then we have Leader class 6-shot. And you can see ORION PAX just comes up to the base of those chest wings on 6-shot right there. And then, of course, quick comparison next to the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. So you can see, oh, he looks next to them. So that's all there's to say on ORION PAX's robot mode. So now let's roll right along and get into Optimus Prime's robot mode. So we'll just move ORION PAX off to the side for the time being and bring out the trailer first, since this will be most of it. So what you're going to do, you're going to flip the trailer hitch down, then you're going to come to the side and you're going to untab this panel right here, like so. Untab this panel right here. Oh, and I did forget to mention something in the truck mode. There are 4 Prime Master pegs that allow for Prime Masters or Titan Masters to stand on top of the truck mode, but those are the only pegs on Optimus. So back to the transformation. Open those panels, and then open these panels up and fold them like so. And then you're going to come here, you're going to fold this whole thing around. You're probably going to have to like bend it out a little bit to get clearance for this panel to get all the way around, but you can do that. And then you'll repeat that on the other side, just fold that all around. Then you'll come down here, flip this panel down, and have that tab go into that slot right there, like so. Repeat that on the other side, like so. Come on, why aren't you? Oh, you got to get that out of the way. So is that needs the clearance. So you do have to have this panel folded out, so as this panel can fold in properly, and then that'll tab in together. I never noticed that actually until I was transforming it just now. And then you're gonna rotate these arms up like so, close that panel down, and fold them down like that. And we'll repeat that on this side. Fold that up like that, close those panels, fold them down. And while we're up here, let us flip out the smokestacks. So there are the arms of Optimus Prime. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to straighten out the legs. The legs do have to be in this exact position for this whole trailer to fit correctly, and there's nothing like really locking anything in to say like, hey, this is how it's supposed to go for this form, but you just do have to do that. So you'll just straighten that out, and then you'll come down here, and you'll untab these sections and you're going to fold them out like so. Then we're going to do a lot of wrapping around. These panels are going to fold like that. That panel's going to fold like that. Actually, we got to untab these legs right now, because then the last thing we have to do is do that, fold that down, and then finish folding this in and tabbing it in right there. Do that, and then we'll actually get the feet out of the way, since that helps with the clearance with those panels, and they just fold down like so. So wrapping the leg around again, do that, straighten that out, fold that down, finish wrapping it around, and tab it into place. And there you have the legs all done. The arms are also all done. And there is the skeleton, basically, of Optimus Prime. I'm going to have to raise the camera up a bit. So let me do that right now. There we go. There we are. So now that's done, we'll bring ORION PAX back out here. So all of that is all good. So what we need to do is we're going to fold the head down and open the chest like so. And then we're going to come here and flip out the Optimus Prime head like so. And fold the ORION PAX head in and collapse the chest like so. Then we're going to come up here, we're going to fold the arms in like that and fold the fists down like so. Repeat that on the other side. They don't tab in anywhere like in the vehicle mode. They just kind of sit there, but there's enough wiggle room that like you don't need to get into like a very exact position to make sure it properly fits. It will fit. And then last thing you're going to do, you're going to rotate the legs around, fold the feet in, and you're going to stick this tab right here into this slot right next to that yellow bit in the chest. So as that is all locked in place, do that on the other side, rotate the leg, fold the foot in, and get that tabbed into place. And there you have the core of Optimus Prime, I guess. And then all you're going to do is you are going to stick it in there. It's all going to lock in very solidly. And there you have Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And holy crap, that looks juicy. That is an Optimus Prime if I ever saw one. Not as Optimus Prime as a Masterpiece 10 Optimus Prime, but boy, the best Optimus Prime I'm ever probably going to have in my collection, I will say. Before we actually get into looking closer, I do want to make a note before I forget to disengage the ORION PAX section. You do have to pull down on this blue tab to unlock it. As you can see, there's actually a bit of a locking mechanism that happens when you stick Optimus in there, and you do need to fold that blue tab down to get this section out. You are not getting that out unless you break it, if you don't push that button. Just so you are all aware of that. Now taking a closer look at Optimus Prime. He has his very G1 head, very nice blue helmet going on, a little bit of gray going on in the head crest. Nice silver faceplate on top of a silver face with some nice light blue eyes. His chest has translucent blue plastic with a bit of techie details going on there. And his chest mimics the top of the cab, just bigger because with how the transformation works, it wouldn't be proportional for this mode. So they had to fake part this bit. This also had to be faked to be to be an appropriate scale, but a lot of this is faked because of just how the transformation works, but I am fine with it. And then the fake headlight, the truck lights going on there. Coming to the arms, you have red on the front of the arms, though the rest of the sections are gray, and you got some gray smoke stack going on there. You got stickered Autobot symbols on his shoulders. You got predominantly red arms. You got a little bit of extra sticker detail on the forearms. Backs of the forearms are substantially more gray than they normally would be, but that's because they have a lot of truck panel going on them. And then you got gray fists going on for Optimus Prime, even though normally the fists are blue. And I had considered at some point painting them blue, but I don't know why. The gray fists kind of grown on me, even though I still find it weird, especially on the packaging art, that he's got gray fists instead of blue fists, but you know, I'm actually kind of fine with it now. I don't know why. But yeah, continuing on. Lower section of his chest is red. You got the gray grill going on there. You got a bit of yellow going on around the crotch, as well as blue going on the lower section of the crotch, on top of a lot of gray. The thighs are very gray. They kind of got like a swirly kind of a plasticky kind of color going on there, if you can see that. Just kind of like lines and streaks going on through the plastic, which is a very interesting choice. Lower legs are predominantly blue on the front. You got a little bit of sticker detail going on there. Bit of silver paint there. Feet are completely blue. Very, very tiny stickers right there. And then the rest of the legs are gray because, again, panel coverings from the truck. And then on the back, you've got two honkin' legs sticking out from the ORION PAX. And I'm going to say it looked obnoxious to me in photos before I got this toy, but you know what? Having it in hand, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I would expect it. It's a reasonably sized backpack, and it's just kind of like, oh, Optimus is kind of wearing a backpack. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's probably where he like stores his ion blaster and his Energon axe and stuff. I don't know. It's not that bad to me. It's not that bad. Certainly not the greatest, but you know what? It's fine for me. It's fine. For articulation, Optimus Prime's head rotates a full 360 degrees. It's got a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of nod, a little bit of side to side, but not a whole lot. The arms are capable of rotating a full 360 degrees. They're able to go all the way up thanks to that panel being able to move in tandem. You do have to move the smokestack if you want to get it all the way up, but can move that far. The thighs have a biceps have a bicep swivel, 360 degree rotation there. Elbow bend, a bit greater than 90 degrees, not a whole lot greater, but a bit greater than 90 degrees. Unfortunately, nothing at the fist. That's really unfortunate. That's really, really sad. There's nothing going on at the fist there. Nothing going on at the waist as well. Oh, also you can bend the arms in using this hinge, and it honestly doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look terrible. You can get him to move his arms in a little closer to his chest, and it's pretty fine. I will note one thing with the arm articulation I forgot to mention. The articulation joint is not like at the center of the shoulder as you would expect, but kind of towards the back of it, the back bottom corner of it. So like it kind of rotates at a very weird position. I think that might be a bit for the transformation, but it's still kind of weird, but something I can live with. The legs are able to bend that far forward and that far back, and they can bend that far out to the side. That's basically like going to be a full split right there. He's got a bicep swivel allowing 360 degrees of rotation there. The knees can bend slightly greater than 90 degrees, and then the feet, they got some nice ankle tilt, very nice solid going all around ankle tilt right there, and as well as that hinge if you want to position his foot in different positions to get him into different positions. Some of them are maybe a bit more awkward, but maybe helpful in some posing. But you can get Optimus going pretty wide. You can get Optimus going pretty wide and still standing. Excuse me. As for accessories, he can obviously hold his ion blaster, his ion rifle. Very nice. There is also 5mm posts on the sides of his arms that you can stuff the ion blaster into if you want him trying to emulate Megatron for whatever reason with his own weapon. I don't know. That's an option. That's the storage there. I guess if you want to store it on his back, the fists are available, so you can just kind of like sling it off his back, which is very nice. And that seems to be all the storage for the posts. Well, if you want to, these posts from the truck mode are still available. So if you want Optimus having like a gun coming off the inner side of his lower leg, you can do that. If that makes some sense to you or no nonsense to you, whatever you want to do. It's whatever you want to do. But yeah, and then he also is able to access the Matrix. You just gotta open these panels like so. And then you can get to these panels, like so. And you just drop it on the floor to get it out of there. It is a bit of an awkward fit, I will say, just because how the transformation really works. You've basically got two doors to open, but like 3 sets of panels going on. So it's kind of wedged in there, and then these doors don't open as wide, so it's a little harder to access in the complete robot mode, though still accessible. I will definitely say that. It's still accessible, it's just not as convenient to access as it is in the other modes. And it's not as convenient to store in there, just though that may also be because I have large hands because I'm a tall person. Let's see, can I stay in there? Please. 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 There we go. There we go. And like I said before, with ORION PAX, Optimus has absolutely no way of actually holding the Matrix since there's nothing going on at those fists. I really wish that was a feature, that he could actually hold the Matrix. That would have been something. Even if it wasn't like, well, I mean, especially with how the shoulders work, and that's just a friction joint, so I can fix that. Sorry about that, Optimus. There we go. Especially with how the shoulders work, and you can get him in that kind of a position, and then you just kind of could put the Matrix like right there and have him hold it in his hands. I'm a little disappointed that he's not actually capable of doing such. So, minor gripes all around. But that's all there is to say on Optimus in his robot mode. So now let's take a look at some robot mode size comparisons. So here he is next to Legends class Bumblebee, and you can see Bumblebee just comes up to Optimus's knee. Here he is next to Deluxe class Chrome Dome, and you can see Chrome Dome comes up to his hips right there. We've got his mortal enemy Megatron, and Megatron only comes up to like halfway up the chest windows on his chest. And then we have Lear class 6-shot here. And thanks to Optimus's head spikes, he's a bit taller at the head, just a bit taller. Obviously, 6-shot's got his wings, so he is overall taller, as well as the shoulder pads, but they're pretty much about the same height. Yeah, that's that. And then, of course, here he is next to the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. Wheeljack, keep your arm up. So you can see how he looks next to them. Yeah. Overall, this is a wonderful Optimus Prime toy. I love the idea of the gimmick of a Transformer taking on the Matrix and becoming a substantially larger robot. That's kind of, I mean, admittedly, that's my mindset, probably partially because I started Transformers in Cybertron, and that's what that Optimus did. He had a basic form, and then he could power up into a super form, and it's just really cool and really awesome, and I'm glad they were able to replicate it in a toy. Unfortunately, the alternate mode does suffer, like I mentioned with the Voyager figures of this line. That something had to suffer, but the right things were prioritized. The vehicle mode could have been better, but it did well enough of a job to me to pass. It was a solid A for effort. Definitely a lot of problems with the vehicle mode, with just kibble hanging off and not being hidden well, and panels just being there, and panel lines not completely covering anything. But it's acceptable to me. It may not be acceptable to you. It's your opinion. This is a review to make your own opinions. I'm just telling you my opinion so you have an idea of what I'm thinking. But ORION PAX mode is great. Optimus Prime mode is great. Only minor things is I wish they had made the toy's hands blue and made the toy's hands capable of holding the Matrix of Leadership. those are basically the only things. And also, just someone give me an Energon axe for this toy, because this toy deserves an Energon axe. Please. Please, this is such a wonderful Optimus Prime. I'm so glad it exists. I'm so happy this exists. And yeah, it's just a very good representation of Optimus Prime, in my opinion. If you can't get like the quote unquote perfect G1 Optimus Prime of MP10, the masterpiece one, definitely get this one as a substitute. In my opinion, of course. But that is all I have to say on Optimus Prime, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All of the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack's signing off.